What is up, YouTube? Juice is back here with another video, and today I am going to be giving you guys some beginner tips for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this game has been out for a pretty long time now, but it's been really gaining some traction thanks to Jinxie. He has been making this game alive again, and there's a lot of people that's coming back to Rainbow Six Siege. So I'm going to be giving you guys a bunch of tips and tricks on how to get better at this game. So if you guys like this, make sure you drop a like on this video. Comment down in the comment section if you guys want to see a part 2 to this, or if you want to get some more tips, and let's get right into it. First off, you guys want to make sure you go to your settings. You want to go to general, and in the general, make sure you guys have the settings that I have. Now, some of these things are opinionated. It's based off of my own personal opinion on what I like to use. But definitely for starters, using drone after pickup, I use automatic. I want to automatically come out of my drone when the game is getting ready to start. After the prep phase, I want to be able to get right off of my drone and go right to running in and making sure I take out my cameras, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So make sure you guys have drone after prep on automatic. You can change it to whatever you want to, but I use drone after automatic. Next, you guys want to go to your audio. You want to make sure that your master volume is at 100%. All right, you want to be able to fully, clearly hear everything at 100%, and everything else is optional. You also want to go to dynamic range, and you want to put it on night mode. Night mode allows you to be able to hear footsteps and everything more clearly, even at lower volume. So if there's someone moving very slightly off to the side, you'll still be able to hear that very clearly without any issues. Anything else in this list is all optional, whatever you guys decide to use. Next, you guys want to make sure that you go to display, and your VSync, you want to make sure you cut that off. So when you're in offline modes, your game doesn't move janky or any clankly and things like that. You also want to make sure that your field of view is at max. Well, that is more a little opinionated, but I use mine's at max. It starts off at 60. You guys can either change it to 70, 80, or 90. I use mine's at 90, so I have a full clear field of view. I can see all around me, even when I'm scoped in, to my hollow side or in my red dot side. I can still see the size for my character. If you have it at lower volumes, I don't think you'll be able to see that as well. So then after that, you want to make sure that you guys go to controls. In your controls, there's trigger effect, there's vibration, there's gadget deployment, drone deployment. I use advanced for both of those. Basically, it allows you to have full control over when and where you want to place your drones or your gadgets. Also, you want to make sure that control settings, that you guys customize your controller inputs, because your controller inputs allows you to map buttons now. This is a newer feature that they've added, so you're able to map your buttons now to whatever you want to on your controller. So like on my controller, I don't have the ones that has the little back buttons, but I'm sure if you have the back buttons, you can map that to whatever you want to as well. Also, you guys want to make sure that you mess around with your sensitivity. Now, this is very much opinionated. I personally don't like to use super high settings on Rainbow Six Siege. I've played with high settings, I've also played with lower settings, and I've played with what I currently have now, which is a little more in the middle. I feel like that works out much better for me, but there are players who like to use very high sensitivity settings or very low sensitivity settings, as well as dead zone. I have my dead zone a little higher because I do have stick drift on my controller, so I want to make sure that I have a balance so that my controller does not drift all the way off to the left or all the way to the right. So I have both of those set to 8, just to make sure that I can still move my character with no issue, but there won't be any movement by itself. They've also added now where in the controller ADS, there is an advanced or standard. So in advanced, that means that each scope, you can set a sensitivity for each one. I personally like to use the same one because it's much easier for me to be able to control my ADS sensitivity, and as well as my recoil with whatever gun that I'm using. The rest of these settings are if you want to use advanced look settings with ramp up time, boost time, things like that. Over in accessibility, there's now optic colors, so you can change your optic color to whatever you want to. I prefer using a color that you will never see in the actual game, so that you don't get mixed up with if you're looking at the character, or if you're looking at an object, or if you're actually just, that's just your red dot sight and things like that. So using a different sight will make it much easier and better for you to be able to control what you're looking at, when you're looking at it, and things like that. Everything else in the settings are pretty much just simplified, doesn't really matter or anything like that. So the next tip I would give you guys is to make sure you come over here to training, and you either go into the shooting range versus AI, map training, or tutorials. Now, there used to be situations. This has replaced it, and it makes it much easier for newer players to learn the map or learn rotational sites and things like that. Because what happens is it allows you to play against bots and learn the maps, learn the different rotation sites, and where people usually are at on the map. So if you go into target drill and you choose your character, you can go in and it'll give you what site to go to, where you will find the opponents at. You can ping where the opponent's at, and it'll help you learn how to aim your gun, in the area of where that character is at, and maybe shoot them through the wall, get a nice little peek, or you can just get a quick little, flick and things like that. So it's just different little things that you can learn if you're playing on these little training maps that they've now provided. Situations didn't really do that, so this makes it much easier for you guys that's newer players to learn how to play Rainbow Six Siege much quickly, things that we didn't have when we first started playing this game. We typically all just had to queue up into a quick match or do the situations and learn how to play. So as you can see right here, once I load it in, it tells me at the top left to go to construction room, which is on the second floor. In the center of the room is where I should find my opponents. Now at the start of matches, you would like to reinforce, like you see I'm doing right here. This will help you to be able to close up the site, keep people from coming in from the walls and things like that, unless they have a hard breacher and things like that. But that's a much more technical, more advanced. If you guys want to see me do something like that, breaking all that down, I can do that in a separate video. But as you can see right here, I pinged where the opponents are at, so now you can see that I'm able to shoot them through the walls, get a nice little peek because I see where they're at. So you want to be able to practice doing things like this, because there are times where in a match where you won't be able to kill the person like just straight on. You would have to either get a peek through the wall, or you have to do a quick flick like you can see that I'll do right here. I slowly turn the corner, get a nice little head tap, and then continue moving on. So now as you can see that the room has me on the first floor in the center room, and there's potential bomb site right there. So now as you can see right here, that means that they're on the first floor. So if someone's playing the game and they're using cameras like a Valkyrie, or they're using someone who has like intel and things like that, and you get a ping like this, you will want to be able to know what to do next at this point, which the best thing you will do if you're playing above, you can get head taps like that through the floor. Or if you have a character like Sledge or Ram who can actually create holes in the floor, you want to be able to use a character like that to open up the bottom of the floor, so you can have a better chance of being able to shoot your opponents through the wall. Now as you can see right here, if there's a character in a position where you can't kill them, be able to kind of get in a position to be able to kill them. You also want to work at keeping your aim level head. As you can see right here, I'm trying to make sure I get all headshots, because in normal matches, depending on where you're at, the position of how far back you are or how close you are to the person, recoil changes, and you'll see that later on in this video where I'll show you guys the differences in recoil stabilization, which means that if you're in a further distance, your gun will spread more. If you're in a closer distance, your gun will spread less. So you want to put yourself in a position where you're actually able to have gunfights and you have a better recoil than the opponent. So typically it's better for you to be able to move back just a little bit to get a better peek, where you have a pixel peek and being able to shoot the opponent in the same distance, you know, not where you're far back and then they're all the way back here and your gun has more recoil than theirs. They have a better chance of killing you. So you want to learn how to position yourself where you have a better chance of getting the kill, whether that means play high ground, whether that means to roam, play from behind, or play objective and wait for them to push you. But pretty much for the rest of this video, I'm just kind of showing you guys different areas, different tactics on shooting through walls, using what you have available to be able to shoot the opponents, knowing where the opponents are, using the intel that's given to actually better your chances of getting a kill. Alright, so the next tip that I have for you guys, and the last tip that I have for you guys, is to load up into custom games, pick a map, and learn the camera spots on both attack and defense, because these are very important, because a lot of players go into these matches and they don't take out cameras. They just run around, and I see it often where they don't take out cameras. They allow the defense to have as much intel as they have, which means that in the middle of a match where if you're the last player left and there's all cameras left for the defenders, anywhere that you move, the defender can see where you at and will be pinging you. And if you're getting constantly, repeatedly pinged over and over and over and over again, they will know exactly where you are, and it'll be a free kill, whether they shoot you through the wall, shoot you from underneath, shoot you from above, or they just push you and flick you. You're gonna die either way because they have intel on you. They know exactly where you're at. So it's important that you guys go into these matches and shoot out all the cameras. Now, Oregon is a map that I know very, very well because I play it often when I'm playing custom games with my friends or when I'm just playing up anyway. So I took out every single camera on Oregon without any hesitation because I knew exactly where all the cameras were at. So if I load into a match and it's Oregon and I say I want to push from underneath, I want to push from construction, there's a camera right there that's on construction site. There's also a camera that's inside near the construction site wall, which you will see me take out as soon as I get into the objective site, or as soon as I get into the building right here on this left side right here. When I break into the wall on the left side, camera right there. Now I can push downstairs if I wanted to, and there's a camera that's downstairs as well. But this is by being able to play the map often, learning the game, learning the map experience, things like that. So it comes with a lot of playing around, you know, in the game, knowing what to do, what not to do, where the cameras are at, where the cameras are not at, where the objective sites are, where the objective sites are not at, things like that. So all this are things that you learn as you play this game. But the biggest thing is learning the map. I promise you that you guys will appreciate it if you learn the map. There are so many different areas where you can push, create rotations, Even just little things like if there's a person that, if you're on coastline, which is another map that I really love, if you're on coastline and there's someone that's in hookah and you're in billiards, there's two ways that you can rotate to billiards if you actually know the map. You can actually, if you're on hookah, you can push from aquarium, and there's a wall right there that's blocking hookah and billiards. You can blow open that wall if you're on defender, and you can actually push in from there. Or there's the doorway right there. There's another door that's on that side. Now if you're an attacker, you can push in from hookah from the window, from aquarium door, or from that long hallway that's an aquarium hallway, or you can push down the main hallway. There's so many different ways that you guys can push the map, and it's just with coming, like, playing the game often. And then again, the same thing like I told you guys earlier with recoil control. As you can see, that this was me practicing recoil control from different angles, and as you can see, the closer you get to the wall or your target, the easier it is for you to control recoil. Now if you're in the normal shootout distance, which is usually the distance of right there from where I'm shooting at right now, where I'm allowing my gun to spray all the way, that's normal shooting gun. That's a normal shooting range. Now further back is when you're really trying to get pixel peaks and things like that. You don't really want to spray on the pixel peak. You want to typically try to get a head tap if you can and things like that. But in a normal shooting range, that's about right there a shooting range that you would usually have with someone. So right there you should be able to control your recoil where there's almost no movement at all. But that, again, that comes with learning what gun you're using and things like that. So there's a lot of things that you'll learn as you play, and I'm not expecting that everybody will learn how to do this quickly, but I will say that there's a lot more options now to be able to get better at Rainbow Six Siege than we had when we first started playing the game. So go ahead and load into custom game. Go ahead and set up a match. Don't even have to set up any settings or anything like that. Just go into the game. Just go in, learn where the camera spots are. You can start off as a defender and do this and pick your operator. Push down on the D-pad or whatever you're using to play your game. Whatever's your button to go onto cameras. Click that button right there. You go on and just scan through the different cameras and see where they're located at. Then you want to go on to attack and actually find out where those locations are. Practice that a little often, load into quick matches, try to get on that map and actually use that in the game. But pretty much everything with Siege is going to be map experience and just playing the game often, honestly. And learning the characters too. Learn the operators that you guys are playing. I would say that definitely for those that has the full game, go ahead and just use all the standard operators. If you can use all the standard operators, try every single one of them and see which one fits you, because there's different game styles, and you're going to learn that not everyone plays the same. There's some people that likes to roam, there's some people that likes to anchor, there's also some people that likes to just go ahead and be a support person. They like to go and grab their intel, or they like to just kind of place down some traps and kind of sit back and watch and make sure that everything is okay. There's all different kinds of players that likes to play this game, and there's also different play styles. So you guys have to figure out what works for you. But me personally, I like to play a mixture of both. I like to soft roam, where I won't be too far from my objective, where I can come back and help out if need be, but I also will go out and gather intel, because I typically play kind of the support kind of operators. I don't really play the fraggers like that. That's not really my play style. I can frag if I want to. I've done it several times, but I'm typically one that likes to play support. So you guys have to figure out what you guys like. Again, if you want a video for that as well, finding out the perfect operator for you. But you guys let me know down in the comment section if that's a video that you guys want. But that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video or comment down below. Hit the sub button so you guys know when I upload a new video. And thank you for your continued support for this year. The goal is gonna be 2,000 subscribers for this year. So thank you guys for your continued support. Make sure you stay hydrated, get you some juice.